Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 307, Staying Ahead of It. Hello. Welcome back to the podcast. It's Thanksgiving week. Are you guys excited? I am actually refreshingly excited and calm about this week. I did a workshop last week called How to Enjoy the Holidays Without Over Drinking, and I may drop that as a bonus episode so you can have it here. But I took everybody through an exercise, including myself. I usually do the exercises right along with you, and I always get something from them. But basically the exercise was make a list of all the things that you have to do this week or have signed up to do, and then list everything out, all of it, like all the stores you have to go to, events that you're going to, people that are coming, all of it. And then you go through each item and kind of see how each one makes you feel. Does it feel good to be doing those things, or does it not feel good? And what I uncovered was that there's a few things that I didn't want to do that were on that list that I originally had thought I would be doing. And so I let go of some of that and talked to my husband, and we made plans, and we just added a lot more spaciousness to our week, took the pressure off of trying to get the house decorated before everybody got here. And I am really now excited. We got all of our shopping done. I'm really looking forward to cooking and eating all of my favorite Thanksgiving foods. So my favorites, I make turkey. I'm hosting, so I'm making a turkey, and I do this yummy herb garlic lemon butter that I stuff under the skin. Yum. I make herb stuffing with sausage in it. Yum. My mouth is watering. Mashed potatoes. My oldest kid, Sparrow, is going to make homemade cranberries. Yum. And gravy and mashed potatoes and all of that combination. Those are my favorite things. And then, of course, we're having desserts and all that. But I'm really excited to cook and just relax and be with the family and have a few days off work and just like have some cooking projects. And we are doing a 5-mile Thanksgiving morning race. My in-laws and my husband and my youngest kid and I are all going, and they're mostly going to walk. My youngest, Arlo, wants to run across the finish line, so that'll be cute. And I'm really looking forward to that. I picked up a Pictionary game at the Goodwill, unused, and it was like original edition, first edition Pictionary from the Goodwill store for $2. Never been used, and we're really excited about that. So anyway, I'm feeling really good. I'm excited. I'm relaxed. I'm not running around because I canceled a bunch of stuff and said no to some things, which feels great. So for a bonus, I'm going to give you guys this week the holidays workshop class. If you didn't attend live or watch the replay, you can listen to it. I recommend that you have a notebook, because I take you through some of these exercises that you will want to do so that you can feel like I do around the holidays. It's totally possible. And then not overdrink because you're stressed out and burnt down and pulled too thin. Okay. But this week, I want to talk about staying ahead of it. And a lot of times what I see with clients is that they are doing well and they're not drinking, or they're cutting back and they're really engaged in doing the work. And the work is, if you're in one of my programs as a private client or in a membership or coaching program, you have worksheets and workbooks. So during doing the work means having time every day where you're connecting with yourself in that work and you're reflecting on things, you're journaling, you're answering prompts and questions to kind of dig a little bit deeper to understand the reasons why you drink in the first place. And then we talk about self-care. So that is also doing the work, is taking really good care of yourself, putting yourself on top of the priority list and making those things non-negotiable. Because when you do those things, you drink less. You feel better. You're more connected to yourself. You're more connected to your goals. You're more conscious, and you're making yourself a priority, which feels good. And then people, kind of, maybe they'll miss a day, right? Or maybe they'll travel or something happens and they don't get to their worksheet or whatever, and it kind of starts slipping away from them. They're not drinking right away. It's not like this immediate thing. If I don't do the daily work one day, I'm going to drink the next day. It's not like that. It's usually a slow process where we kind of like get away from doing what works, and then what doesn't work sneaks back in. Okay, so this podcast, I want to talk about staying ahead of it. And it's doing those things so that we stay ahead of what is likely to come when we're not engaging with the work on a regular basis. So, if you read any sort of quit lit book, which is stories about people who have overcame alcohol and drug issues, my podcast, if you're in my coaching program, you will know that taking care of yourself and having boundaries and learning about your feelings and doing this internal work for yourself is pretty much a requirement if you want to make permanent changes with your relationship with alcohol. So staying ahead of it is doing those things, even when it feels boring, even when it's just like, this feels repetitive. Because when you start to let that slip away is when our old behaviors come in, because we're not investing into our lives in an intentional way. When we just kind of like go on with our day and we're not focusing on our goals, we're not paying attention to how we feel and doing things that, add to our lives, like exercise or drinking water or eating well or prioritizing sleep and, not running around crazy and doing a bunch of things that we really don't need to be doing, right? Like that's when things start to go awry. And when you engage with the daily work of taking care of yourself, you are more likely to stay successful. Okay, so this concept, staying ahead of it, is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to tell you a little story. So this past weekend, I was beginning of the busy week of Thanksgiving and whatnot, and I wanted to go to Costco. And in last minute, it was Saturday morning, last minute I was texting with my friend, and she said she would go to Costco with me. And I was like, oh my God. So I wanted to be at Costco as soon as it opened at 9:30 in the morning to get ahead of the crowds. And so we made these plans very last minute. So I kind of had to rush to like take a shower and get ready. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to have time to eat breakfast. And then I'm like, I can just grab a protein shake, which is fine. I have protein shakes for exactly this reason. And so I got ready really fast and I left, and I realized when I was all the way out of my neighborhood that I forgot the protein shake. And I was like, oh man, shoot. I was like, okay, well, can I make it? Can I go to Costco, come home without eating? It'll be noon probably, or, close to it before that happens. I'm like, I could probably make it, or I could just get something at Costco to eat. And I was like, no. I just immediately said no. You're not going to do that. And so I turned around and I went back and I got my protein shake, which made me 6 minutes late to pick up my friend. And I remember thinking that I had to tell you all about this. And because that is me prioritizing myself and staying ahead of it. This is what I'm talking about. There's little teeny tiny decisions that you make that put yourself on top of the list. So in the past, before I know that this works, like before I found life coaching and made these changes in my life, I would have for sure said fuck it and just continued on and drove to pick up my friend and went to Costco. And then after Costco shopping was done, I would have gotten a piece of pizza and probably a Coke or something, and I would have eaten it. And then the rest of the day, I just would have been, playing catch up to that. It just would have thrown me off because I would have waited too long to eat. And when I wait too long to eat, I just get really hungry and crabby, and it doesn't do well for my energy. And then once I eat kind of crappy food, which I love pizza, I will have pizza. I actually eat it on somewhat of a regular basis, but it's very intentional. That would have opened up the door to other shitty things. And I would have probably thrown the day away, and I probably would have felt like crap later, and I would have been mad at myself, right? It just would have cascaded into more stress, more frustration. And that's not how I want to feel during this holiday season. I want to feel excited. I want to feel energized. I want to do all the things that I want to do and have fun doing them. And that one little decision really helped me stay ahead of my energy. It helped me stay ahead of a potential cascade of bullshit behaviors that don't support me in how I want to show up for this holiday season. So that's what I'm talking about. It's these little teeny tiny decisions. And once you let go, like one of those decisions made for anybody, that you let go of something that you had intentionally wanted to do for yourself because you know that that's good for you, opens the window for your brain to just kind of take over and say, fuck it. It doesn't matter. You already didn't follow your plan that today. We can start again tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it's January 1st and you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I got to do something, right? Like it just can start a cascade of events that you know aren't good for you, right? So even though it was inconvenient for me to turn around and go back and it delayed me getting to my friend by 6 minutes, I was willing to be late for that. Because listen, me stopping at Costco and eating a pizza or a piece of pizza and like making time to stop at a fast food place also would have added time to my day, right? I would have delayed me in the rest of the day for even longer than a 6-minute thing to getting home, unpacking the groceries and doing everything else I wanted to do that day. So I actually saved time by going back and getting that protein shake. I saved my energy. I saved myself from misery. And it may sound like I'm being dramatic, but you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, right? We're in this holiday season. You're running around. We're not making ourselves a priority. We're not getting our exercise in. We're not drinking enough water. We're doing too much. We're not getting enough sleep. And then what happens? We don't enjoy ourselves, right? That's the sucky part. Like we have one life to live. And like we want to try to enjoy it as much as possible. And when we're stressed out and run too thin, and then we drink and eat to give ourselves a little bit of pleasure, and then we regret those decisions because they don't make us feel good, we just stay stuck in this miserable cycle. So that's why we want to stay ahead of it. I was coaching one of my clients and, we were talking about like she hadn't been doing the worksheets and, she knew, and she wasn't drinking or anything, but she knew that by not doing those things, it could get ahead of her, right? And that's just a warning. Like if you guys see yourselves not engaging with the work, if you are in one of my programs, or maybe you're trying to do this on your own and you're not doing the things that you know work for you, I really want to challenge you to get back to doing those things. Even though nothing has happened yet, you're basically starting that slip away process when you're not prioritizing yourself and your well-being. And so there's going to be an opportunity that comes through to your brain that says, oh, one drink won't hurt. Just like, oh, not doing the work today won't hurt. Yeah, one day of not doing the work and not prioritizing yourself probably isn't going to have a catastrophic event. However, it opens the door for your brain to say that about other things, right? So maybe tomorrow you don't need to get your walk in. Maybe tomorrow you don't need to really pay attention to how much water you're drinking. Or maybe tomorrow you don't need to journal. Like these little teeny tiny decisions start to add up over time. And that's when we start to slip away and we get away from the things that are helping us stay close to our goals and stay close to what works that makes us feel better. So we want to stay ahead of it by making these little decisions every day that help us stay present, stay connected with us, help us feel better. You all know what makes you feel good and what doesn't, right? So when you plan your food, you plan your drinks, and then you are way more likely to follow through on that. You've planned that with your intentional way of how you want to feel, right? So that's what we have to do, even though it might feel boring sometimes, or even it might be this little teeny tiny thing like my protein shake. You want to remember that it's important to honor yourself and to stay ahead of it. And of it means the catastrophic turmoil that happens when we don't make ourselves a priority, right? We all know what that feels like, especially if you've been working at this for a while. So how can you stay ahead of it this week? What comes up for you when you hear me say that? Maybe you need to wake up early every day, this week, even though it's, somewhat of a vacation week for this weekend for Americans. A lot of times we have time off, the kids are home. Maybe you need to intentionally wake up still every day this week early and do your work and invest in yourself and get your walk in before people wake up in the morning. Maybe you need to say no to some things. What does it mean for you to stay ahead of it so that you can enjoy yourselves even outside of the holiday season, right? Like, life is stressful. Unexpected things happen all the time. And when you have a strong foundation of doing the work, this will kick in when you need it the most, just like it is for me, right? I need it the most when I'm in busy seasons. I need to rely on myself to make sure that I'm taking good care of myself. I'm prioritizing my needs, eating well, sleeping well, moving my body, drinking enough water, not overscheduling myself. I am really more tight on that stuff when I am busy, like during busy work times or travel times or holiday times. I'm very focused on that because if I don't get to enjoy myself, and I can easily lose it, and it gets away from me, and I get really stressed and overwhelmed, and then nobody is happy around me, including myself. So I hope this episode helps you about the importance of staying ahead of it. You get to decide what that means for you, and I would really welcome you to really tune into that this week as we go into the holiday season. And then also we're going to release the How to Enjoy the Holidays Without Overdrinking masterclass. I recommend you sit down with that with a pen and paper and take notes and do the exercises that I'm talking about in that class so that you can maximize your time this holiday season with the most pleasure and enjoyment and relaxation, and focus on what really matters. Your health matters, your family matters, your friends, your connections, and recognizing all the good things that we do have. And when we get ahead of ourselves and we let the day and the holiday and the season kind of sweep us away, we forget that. And that's what it's all about, my friends. All right, we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye for now. Okay, also, did you hear that Stop Over Drinking and Start Living is open for early bird applications through December 15th? You have an opportunity to save $600 off of this life-changing 6-month coaching program where you get 8 coaching calls a month. All of my best materials to help you take the deeper dive into understanding yourself and the reasons why you're over drinking, and establishing the ultimate self-care plan for yourself so that you can maintain the progress that you've made. So check it out. The link is angelamascenik.com/join, SODSL. You apply, I will review your application. I will get back to you. If you want to set up a call with me, we can. And then the program actually starts January 1st. But if you sign up now, that's where you get the discount. And then we're going to kick it off together live January 1st. And we'll be off to the races. You also get an extra month in the program when you join now. So instead of it normally being 6 months, you get 7 months access to all the coaching, all the materials, all the goodness, if you get your applications in now before December 15th and get the early bird opportunities. All right, friends, I can't wait to see who applies to join me.